Can Tommy Robinson run for political office?
Tommy Robinson could run for political
Why
office.
don't you?
Why don't I? I believe that I have more power as a journalist. I believe that, see,
I don't know about that. Because if...
at the minute...
Okay, well, I mean, who is the biggest name in your country that was a journalist that eventually went and, ran and was hated by Chamberlain and all these other guys because he had brass balls and he was feared by a lot of different people? Who is that guy? We know who we're talking about, right? Churchill was a former journalist for many years. But if you're telling me there isn't anybody in the parliament that's going out there being vocal. I'm in Brazil a couple months ago, okay? And do you know who Nicolas Ferreira is in Brazil? Have you heard of this guy?
The guy...
Nicolas Ferreira, the young guy, the 28-year-old superstar.
Yeah.
So this guy right here, Nicolas Ferreira, right? Brazil is another shitty situation. They have a guy named Alexandre de Moraes. He's the dictator. He's the Supreme Court guy that if you see his face, you will know who he is. Yeah. This guy has gone into office, not him, he's a Supreme Court guy. Nicolas got into office through using social media. He has become the most popular voice in all of Brazil, to the point where I'm in Brazil with them, in Brasilia. We're walking around. He can't go anywhere. Everyone is stopping him. He posted a video this year on Instagram. I think it was in January or something like that. Do you know how many likes the video got? Not views, likes. 9.8 million likes. I think the video got 1.5 billion. I'm sorry, 9 million likes, 900,000 comments. Rob, can you see how many views it got? How many views did it get? Just go on the, if you click on the like.
This is why they want to crush social media.
They do, but if you go on the likes, it'll show you the video right there. If you, no, not right there, Rob. Whatever you were going before. If you, Kelly, if you can check to see how many views this thing got on his account. What's the point? Everybody fears him because they see him being able to run for office and be the president of Brazil in 2036. So if you legally can run, according to the law, if you can legally run, and if you don't get into create enemies, people like you now, by the way, someone's going to say, I cannot believe Patrick Bet-David wants a far-right extremist who's a racist Islamophobia to go run for office. No, I mean, if you're seeing the issues that's happening in UK and people are looking the other way because they're scared and you're not getting involved in politics.
My thing is, I don't...
Or getting behind someone that's willing to do it.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be alive. So the way I operate, the way I live for the last 3 years is I hide. That's the only way I've been able to. I've been in foreign countries. I fly back into the UK, I do my work, and I get the hell out because I'm not safe.
Is your family over there?
They're over there, but there have been many times I've flown them out and moved them. My family have lived in 8 different properties in 8 years. That's what they did. Yeah, every time they had to be moved. Do you know who tracked them down each time? Home Not Hate. The government groups. They expose them. You saw it in silence. So I don't believe my family is safe. I know they're not safe. I don't believe I'm safe, but I have important work to do. I believe the fight is in the UK, and I believe that I hoped, you see, with reform, do you know there's not one politician since Churchill, since Sir William Gladstone, there's not one single politician that's mentioned Islam in the House of Parliament. We've had how many jihad attacks? How many terrorist attacks? Not one single person's had a discussion on Islam. No one's even allowed to talk about Islam at a 5-6% Muslim population because of the shutting down and the silencing and the criticism. In America, you've still got people who are willing to talk. I've always looked at America and thought there's still brave people who can have the discussion. And this is this discussion that has to be had. It has to be had unless you're willing to. There's 1,000 years of English history. You're just going to give it away. Christian English history. It's going to be gone. I think Americans, you need to come and look at what London looks like now. You need to come and look at our cities. They're gone. They're never coming back. Paris is not French. It's gone. The beautiful city of romance that you think about, it's not there anymore. And it's not there. It's gone. And we're not even allowed to talk about it. And then when you try and talk about it, far right, racist, extremist, Islam, all this nonsense, that power has gone. The monopoly they had has gone. And it's only gone.
I agree.
Yes,
I agree. I'm with you. That's what I'm saying. If your plan is, for example, a guy like you've chosen to live this life. This is not a good life. It's not an appealing life. You can't sell this life to somebody else. You can't say, go live this life. It's tough to stay married if you want to, 3 kids, you're not seeing them. What father doesn't want to see their kids? What father doesn't want to see their wife? What father doesn't want to, have talking to mom and dad, hey, you guys got to move out of the house because someone's coming knocking on your door, something can happen to you. This is not a life that one can sell the dream. But if you've chosen to live this life since 2004 and you're a crusader of this message that you're doing, the biggest thing when people say, you're Islamophobic or you're racist or any of that stuff, it's not about that. My interpretation of how I receive you is, look, if you come to my city and I have neighbors, and if I go into a city and it's run by Scientologists and the city gets better, I don't care what your religion is. If you come into a city and you're Jehovah and the economy does better, you create jobs, safer, you guys take care of your kids, I'm good with that. But the whole point is, if you're coming into a city and you bring in ruckus, chaos, crime, and you want us to adjust to you, you came to us. I didn't come to America trying to change America to my leanings. I came to America because America offered me what life I wanted. That's why I'm in America. I'm not in America to say, well, we got to go back and do it the way Iran did it. No, then go back to Iran. If you think that is such the right way and the right way to live, go there. But for a guy like you that's this level of a true believer, I think you may need to either consider that. I'm sure people have already brought it up to you because, and if you consider it's a point of no return, because I asked you multiple times, what do? You said, I'm this guy, I'm this. What's the solution? The one thing a lot of people don't want to talk about, Charlie Kirk tweeted something 3 days ago, and his tweet was, Islam is not compatible with Western ideology or something like that. What does he say? Islam is not compatible with Western civilization. He posted it. 66 million views.
Well, the European Court of Human Rights said in 2007, I think, that Sharia is incompatible with Western civilization.
Now look what your friend Dan says on the bottom.
I completely disagree. Yeah, of course, because he's getting paid by Iran. Of course he's gonna.
See, here's the thing.
He sees his future.
Here's where I'm at. I don't think he's getting paid by Iran, and I don't think
he's just
no. I don't think he's getting paid by Iran. I don't think you're getting paid by Israel. I think his reasoning is completely different. But to me, at this age, look at the city. I've lived a lot of different places. I don't have one bad experience with somebody that's Jewish. They're always going to make money. They're very tight with their money. You can criticize them for all that stuff on how they are. But when they get into societies and places, it gets better. Yes, they want control. Yes, they want influence. Yes, they want power. Yes, they want all that stuff. Criticize them for that. But when it comes down to this, and we're seeing if it's compatible or not, a message like this, there is a lot of...
Do you know how good that is that Charlie Kirk's done that?
But let me tell you, but we need to fly back, so I got to go take my family to dinner tonight. But when you look at this, you know what this really says, though? This says one thing. It says the Constitution has a challenge and a flaw in it in the U.S. Because what is it? Freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom of religion.
That's if you recognize it as a religion. It's an ideology. It's not just a religion.
China said it's a mental illness. I don't know if you saw that or not. There were stories about some countries that talk about Islam is not a religion.
The last thing is it's a complete way of life. It's a complete way of life, and it's a danger to the West, a total danger. And that doesn't mean that individual Muslims. I try and separate Muslims from Islam because most Muslims don't follow the scripture to the word. But the scripture to the word is going to bring big problems. I think 4 times as many British Muslims joined ISIS and fought for the British military. 40,000 British Muslims are on a terror watch list. 40,000. These aren't small numbers. If you look at the numbers of Muslims that want Sharia law, look at their views, it's massively problematic. And we're just sitting there waiting for it to get so big and so bad that it's irreversible. And it's only going to take brave people like that speaking up. Brave people speaking up and educating. I think most Muslims are naive of the agenda of Islam. Because many Muslims treat their religion like a buffet. They take the good bits and they...
I agree. I had an assistant of mine that was, like right now, a couple of my favorite people in the company. I like to go to dinner, have conversations with them. They're Muslim, but they're nice people, family, good, all that. So my assistant, who was 9 months, was my assistant, one of the funniest guys in the world. He was Muslim, and we sit there and talk about it. Probably the sweetest assistant I ever had. He was the sweetest guy. Some guys you can use the word sweet.
Yeah. Love it.
You very, very rarely use the word sweet with a guy. This guy was a sweet guy. Now, he was a surfer. He was a regular guy. He wasn't deep into it to know what's going on. But to me, when you see things like this taking place, Charlie tweets something like that, more and more people are starting to talk about this. And you see a guy like you that just got out 10 days ago, we're sitting having a conversation, a place like UK, I would only encourage you to consider what it would look like if you did get involved, because the reality of it is history can't be written without UK having influence in a major part of world history. You can't go to study world history without reading a bunch about the influence of what, UK did. Good, bad, ugly, but it's part of history. We all got it, right? So to me, when someone's a true believer like you, from the moment you walked in, you were on the edge. The moment you walked in, it's not like this is an act. 25 years old, you're sitting there with that one journalist, whatever the guy's name is, you're going back and forth. You've been like this and so forth with your niece, your second cousin, 13 years old. But it's great having a conversation with you right now. I'm glad we were able to make this work. We're going to put the